go. All right. Attendance is required. Students are allowed to miss 0 classes. There's only 4 other ones. Just make it, okay? Just make it easier on yourself. If you need to miss, there is an option. I am recording. Oh, actually, I'll get to that in a second. There is another option. You will not get a check mark for showing up more than 15 minutes after the start of class. So at 9:15, I usually take attendance. At that time, if I'm not too big of a stickler, please show up on time. If you're 17 minutes late, I'll be okay. But just try to get here before 15 minutes, just out of respect for everybody. And I usually will be rolling into the lecture by that time. So hopefully, if you come in late, just walk in quietly. Don't say hi to everybody. Ask them how their weekend was. Just sit down quietly, and then hopefully I can get through the lecture nice and quick. Okay? Like I said, there's going to be daily worksheets. Basically what it is a worksheet that has questions on the stuff I just talked about in lecture. You know what? I don't have a problem with it. I'll hand it to you at the beginning class, and then you'll know what to expect to answer on the assignment, and then maybe you can take notes really heavy for those questions that will be required for you at the end of class. It'll make it so much easier on you. And then just answer them in detail. As much detail as you possibly can, and then if there's any areas where I would like you to make improvements, I'll go ahead and let you know. Give it back to you, and then you just give it back to me. So I will not accept any assignments that don't have right answers on it, basically. So if you hand me something that has the wrong answer, I'm going to go ahead and edit it and hand it back to you. So the goal would be that you don't know that you're wrong, that you know how to become right. Everybody understand that? It's so much more productive than just getting a grade. I'll give you the right answer, or I might help steer you in the right direction. When we're talking about fertilizer calculations, that seems to affect a couple people. They just can't quite get it right. What I do is I'll ask you the question, and then if you can't get the answer, I'll give you the answer, and I'll be like, so how did you get this answer? And I just kind of steer you through the whole way before. By the end, I don't give you the whole answer, but we've just spent corresponding back and forth a few times trying to figure it out. Hopefully by the end you figure it out on your own, and that's the only way you're really going to learn. Okay? So, daily worksheets, there's going to be the readings. I got textbooks. I'm also going to hand you a whole bunch of handouts as well. And then all of the tools should be given to you to be able to answer the assignment questions, either through me talking, handing out a handout, or in the book. Most of the information is not going to be in the book specifically for the assignments, but the book gives you a really nice basis of understanding agriculture. And more importantly, I wanted you guys to have books so that when you're done with this class, if there's any questions on, what was it? Was it fungus or bacteria that leaves round spots on leaves? I don't remember. Oh, let's just check the book. It says right there. I remember it's one or the other. Let's check the reference. I want you to be able to go back 5 years later from now and check your reference, okay? So I did my best to get you guys some free stuff, and it worked out. All right. Participation, the first few minutes of each class, I like to have a group discussion where we basically talk about what we talked about in the last class. This doesn't always happen, especially on the last class because we had so many students. But with a smaller class, it'll probably end up working out. Where before I take attendance, I'll probably ask, is there anything that you folks read about that you don't understand? And then we can clarify it in class. Okay? Please have all your comments, ideas, and questions prepared for the next class so that when we start up class at that 15 minutes, you already have your questions set up, and I'm not saying, does anybody have any questions? And you're thinking, what was it last night that I was reading and I didn't really understand? You already have it written down, okay? Please participate in lectures with the speakers. I appreciate that. All classes will have a lecture. We'll also do some field trips or activity, and all the course materials will be provided to you. We're talking about field trips. A couple of the dates, when we go through the schedule, you'll see that we have a couple field trip dates. No transportation will be provided for that by HCC. You folks, basically what we do is we show up here, and then we figure out a way to carpool and go over to our location. The farthest we're going to go so far that I know is Curtistown. So it's not too bad. So, won't be provided, please carpool. We're going to meet here for the field trips, and we're going to have usually a lecture first, and then we take off after the lecture and we go to the locations. I cut down one of the field trips from the last class, so it's going to be a little bit more slower pace, and last time we were running all over the place trying to get to so many different spots. So we're not going to wait for you. Once we finish the lecture, we're going to get in the cars, we're going to take off. If you disappear or get lost, you have my phone number, which is right there on the syllabus. Please give me a call and let me know that you can't find location, and we'll try to steer you over there. Once we get to the location, we're going to start, because we have guest lecturers or people out there that are meeting us that have taken time out of their schedule, usually on a Saturday, to come out and help us out. So we're going to get started as soon as we get there, and then we're going to stay until we're POW. So there might be a few times that we might go over. So don't plan on any of these class dates to go to the birthday party at 2:30, okay? There's a chance that we might get out at 1 o'clock on each one of the days because it's a smaller class. I don't know. I said last time we were going to do 4-hour classes. Almost every class went into 4.5 hours. So this one I stretched it to 5. I just made it 9 to 2 because we had such a time period issue. But there's a lot less students, so it might actually be more like 4 hours. But don't plan on going right to the birthday party right after class, because we might be halfway between Panaewa and here and trying to unload our carpoolers, okay? Video podcasting. Taking a different approach this time. Each one of my classes is audio and video recorded, and it has the lectures and has my ugly mug up here just lecturing on and on and on for sometimes for 4 hours. But it's a useful tool in that if you cannot make class, I'm cool with you missing class as long as you watch the videos that I will post on the internet, on YouTube. Last time I did it on iTunes U, and it was an issue with a lot of the students, so I thought it'd be easier just to post it on YouTube. I had to go through a stack of documents to get authorization to do this thick, but I actually got it. So we're actually able to put HCC stuff up on iTunes or on YouTube. If I say iTunes, I mean YouTube, okay? So I'm going to post the videos up. They're going to be in 30-minute segments because I can only do MP4, which is the only version of video that allows me to upload it up in small, detailed chunks. So the videos will be labeled KPFA Ag Skills Core Class Number 1, like this one here, and then Part 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5. So when you're searching for any of the videos for your missed classes, you're going to search KPFA Ag Skills Core, and it should be able to come up. Now, I'm not able to post these videos immediately after class. Figure by Monday or Tuesday they're up, okay? Also, each PowerPoint will be available for each student so that you can go through and you can save it. I don't care what you do with it. And then also use it to do your assignments. This will be available. I should be able to just email them directly to you. If they're too big, then I might have to do a Google Docs document, which is basically an email giving you to a link. It's real easy. You just click on the link, and all of a sudden the document is right in front of you. If you need printouts, I might be able to do that for you, but you probably have to come in and pick them up. But hopefully we can figure out a way that you can just log into the computer and get this set up for you. Or maybe there's a friend in the class that can just print it out for you. So, or you just don't miss any classes. Now, you don't just get to miss class and watch the videos, okay? At the end of each class, I state into the camera usually 3 to 5 questions that you need to answer to show me that you've watched the video, in addition to the worksheets that are due. Okay? These are thought-provoking questions that are completely obnoxious, and you don't want to actually have to answer them. It's because they're so thought-provoking, and sometimes I'll have a 2-page paper due. I mean, I really, really am trying to discourage you from missing any classes. But if you need to miss, I'm giving you another option, and that's my gift to you. But just know that it's going to take you several hours, probably the 4 hours you missed for class, about that much time to do the assignment, okay? Just show up. There's only 4 more. Okay, so isn't that nice of me to make it available for you to miss the class? If you're sick, you got farmer's market, you got something else, but just be prepared that it's going to be a lot more work than just sitting there and nodding your head like, good job, James. Okay, so let's look at the class schedule. Go ahead and open up that to this page here. Before I go on, under the class videos, I have it in bold letters. First of all, you need high-speed internet to be able to watch YouTube videos. Okay? If you're on a MiFi or you're on crappy Wi-Fi, you're not going to be able to watch them, and you're going to have to go somewhere else that provides faster internet. Now, all of your public libraries are free. You can go in there. They have Wi-Fi, and it's super fast, and you can use that. Okay? I'm just letting you know. Also, you can use mom-and-pop coffee shops usually work pretty good. Starbucks is really slow. Don't go there. Okay? It's the worst internet in town. Don't use Starbucks. Also, in bold letters here, James cannot help you with learning how to use the computer or the internet. I don't have that much time. Hopefully, there's somebody in the class that might be able to help you out if there's any issues on that. Like I said, there's also HCC has programs available to teach you. And especially the biggest problem that I've had with folks is they are computer knowledgeable, but their computer is diseased, and they have all kinds of crap on it, and they can't watch their videos because their desktop is so full of stuff that the computer can't even think correctly. I can't help you with any of that, okay? Just take your computer to somebody who does. They will happily help you out. You can go have it cleaned over at Office Max or whatever you need to have done. But as much as I'm here for you guys, I'm not an IT guy. I can't fix your computer for you, okay? I'll happily have you come in if you're having trouble connecting, and I can maybe click through, but I can't help you clean the diseases off your computer. I just have to go out there and state that because I've been asked many, many times to help with folks' diseased computers. I don't like PCs. I don't touch them. I get weird when I get shaky if I get near a PC. So I'm a Mac guy, so that's just the way I am. Okay, so class schedule. Today we're talking about the syllabus. You got your text. We're going over a little bit of paperwork, which didn't get included in my packet, so we'll do that next round. Contact info. I want you, if you can, please. We'll just use this. Does everybody have an email address? Yes. I don't care if you use it or not because you're going to start using it. But I'd like you to put your name, phone number, let's see here, name, phone, and email. When you put your name, put the name that you like to be called. And if you don't have an email address right now, I don't know if you don't, you just need to hook one up by the next class. That's all. If you don't know how to do that, make an appointment with me at the end of class today to come into my office, and I will happily help you set up an email address. Okay? I can do that. I can't get Trojans off your computer. Okay? So just make an appointment with me if you don't have an email, and we'll just set one up real quick, and we'll show you how to get notifications so that when I send something out, you'll have it. And then some folks survive perfectly fine in this class without you reading my emails. They do okay. I don't know how they do it, but they do. So just know that I'm here to help you with that. Okay. Contact info, and then we talked about YouTube and Google Docs. The next class, we're going to be talking about cropping systems. All right, I was asked to expose KPFA group to different options for growing and cultivation in your area. Okay? I'm well aware that a lot of folks don't have soil. Okay, that's wrong. Coming from a soil scientist, I should slap myself. You definitely have soil. You have your own soil type. It's been described. I'll show you how to look it up. It just doesn't really have too much life to it. Some people do have soil that has been brought in, and over years they've been able to build it up. So we'll talk a little bit about soil cropping, what is involved there. We'll talk about hydroponics and aquaponics, what are the differences between those two and what it entails, basically a lot of capital to start off with. Orchard cropping, trees, and nursery cropping. Okay, know that this lecture is to just expose you and drop a couple seeds of ideas into your head so that when we do the business plan side, you can know what type of business you may want to start drafting a business plan for. So you may not know that the amount of money you can make off a nursery. It's incredible how much money in Hawaii you can make off a nursery. You may not think to even start with that. But when I show you some of the numbers and I give you a couple of the handouts that talk about how much money can be made for different kinds of nursery crops, you may change your plan. So the goal here is really just to expose you to lots of options for your guys' neighborhood, okay? Then we're going to go on a field trip. Has anybody seen Michael DuPont's natural farming piggery with the deep litter system before? Okay, you will. Trust me. You will think this is the most fascinating thing in the world if you are into livestock, because Michael DuPont has designed, with the help of Master Cho from the Korean Natural Farming Group, he took a design of a pig hut called Hubble Bubble, and they have designed a system where they basically simulate a forest floor on the floor of the piggery, and because of the microorganisms that they use for inoculation and the amount of organic material that they use on the floor, not cement, but a organically layered floor, that they are able to have a piggery with absolutely no flies, guaranteed. Not one fly in the whole place. No stink, no smell at all. It actually smells like wood chips, and it is one of the most enjoyable piggery experiences you will ever have in your life. And what he does is he's going to show you what the system entails, and more importantly, he's going to talk a little bit about having NRCS and a couple other organizations actually help you build them, help you cover the cost for building these Hubble Bubble systems, and then you can actually see how the piggery industry in Hawaii is going, because of this, is going to improve, and how each one of you can actually take advantage of these programs. So we're going to go out that day. We're going to meet with Mike, who's one of my good buddies, and we're going to see his Hubble Bubble system and check out his piggery. I can't stress it anymore. If you guys are thinking about pigs or you already have pigs, definitely come to this, okay? So the next class after that, notice it says 9 to 12. This class is really intense, guys. I dulled it down a little bit compared to the last class, but I really couldn't take out too much material. Thank you. Because, whose pen was this? Because this is really the root of the class, is understanding plant fertility. I think is probably the most important part of farming. If you don't understand how plants behave in the soil chemically, physically, and biologically, then I don't think you have a full understanding of what it means to have plant nutrition, about fertilizer applications, how much needs to go down, how do you find these things out. And so I'll talk about in that class plant nutrition basics. This is chemistry, folks. I'm going to be talking about minerals. I'm going to be talking about ionic exchange. I'm going to be talking about particle charge, okay? But I will break it down to the point where, at least the last time I did this class, I had about 80% of the class actually understand what was going on. So I think with a smaller class, I'll be able to address anybody's issues and questions on this. And just know that after you're done with that class, you will have a totally different appreciation for farming, fertilizers, and what goes on in a relationship between plants and their environment, okay? I'm going to give you a lot of science in that class. You don't have to retain all of it. Just know that I'm giving you the information and that I'm gift wrapping it for you. If you want to learn it, that's fine. If you don't want to learn it, that's fine too. But I need you to show me on your assignment that you understand the concepts that we went through. You don't have to understand all the equations and how ionic exchange happens. I really just need you to answer those questions I have on there, which are easy enough that after the lecture, you should be able to understand the full spectrum of what we're talking about, at least the major concepts, and then let me know on the assignment what the major concepts are of ionic exchange, cation exchange capacity, all those wonderful things. Okay? It may be way over your head at this point. I promise you, I'll break it down. Okay? We're supposed to have a field trip that day. I had one scheduled that got canceled yesterday. So I'm going to have to find something else that goes in that slot. Guaranteed before the 13th I'll have something set up. All right? It won't be far. It'll be something probably has to do with fertility or composting or something like that. Okay? If I don't have anything, I might just lecture on to make sure you understand the concepts that are on the PowerPoint. Because to me, on that day, the concepts in the PowerPoint are so much more important than the field trip. That's the day where we talk about some important things. Okay, so the next class, lecture on crop selection. This is a really cool lecture in that what I do is I show you different places on the computer, on the internet, which is the only place to find current information. Nobody is publishing 2012's cacao numbers from Hawaii in a book. It just doesn't exist. Nobody's putting it in a book anymore. It's all on the internet. So if you need this information, if you want to grow cacao and you want to do some market analysis, if you're not connected to the computer, then you're not going to get today's information. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go through, and the lecture has just got a whole bunch of links where we'll show you how to resource information from CTAR, from UH Manoa, where they have a database for kind of produce specifics and how to grow carrots in Hawaii. And they have a whole write-up on how to grow carrots or tomatoes, and they have a whole write-up. What are the diseases that typically happen in Hawaii? What kind of cultivars really grow best? What kind of insects typically get all over tomatoes? And what environment grows best? There's a write-up for almost every crop that you can think of that has been grown on a mass scale in Hawaii. So I'll show you about how to access that information. We're also going to go to the NRCS Soil Survey website, where I'm going to show you that about these different soils all throughout the Big Island. I'm going to have you punch in your address into the system, and you're going to actually see your plot of land, and we'll figure out what kind of soil types are on your plot of land, and how is that useful, and all that good stuff. So we'll go to the website and check that out all together. It's a really fun activity. We're also going to talk about market research. When you're choosing a product or a produce or a fruit tree, you want to be sure it's the right one. And I want to talk to you a little bit about how to do research on your crops, getting the most current information, and making sure that the crop that you're going to choose to grow is profitable and, most importantly, works for you. Okay? So that's the biggest thing when we're talking about crop selection, we're talking about farm design. Does the design work for you? That's first. Does it work in your lifestyle? That's most important. Okay? After that, we're going to go over to the UH Hilo farm, which is right next to Mauna Loa, the MacNut place. And we're going to go out there and we're going to do a soil survey. We're going to go take a soil sample, and we're going to bag it up, fill out the forms that you would fill out to have it analyzed, and then we will send it off. I will have already a analysis done. We'll go through the analysis, see what the Agriculture Diagnostic Service Center would give you back, what kind of fertilizer recommendations that they have on there, and how to interpret those fertilizer recommendations. That's all that is. It's really nice. Certainly, probably one of the most useful things to do in farming is to test your soil, or at least tissue samples on your trees or on your crops. The only way to find out what the heck's going on in there, really. And then the last class is a lecture on best practices in integrated pest management. Integrated pest management is, of course, a plan. It is a written plan to address disease, weeds, insects, and abiotic factors. And what I'm going to do is show you what are the different sections of an IPM plan, and then we'll talk a little bit about weeds, insects, disease control, and abiotic management. We're all going to do that in Chris Jacobson's lab right over here. It's the agriculture lab that we have at HCC. When I'm done with that lecture, we're going to do a wonderful activity where you guys will have already brought in some leaf samples and some insect samples. And we're going to see, are your leaf samples a fungus? Is it a bacteria? We'll look at a little bit of the characteristics to be able to tell the difference between the two. And when you bring your insects in, we'll talk a lot about mouth parts and how that's important in addressing your insects. And being able to identify your insects is really the only way to address them. Just putting out a spray and everything, killing everything is certainly not the option. An IPM plan is really the best option. It's both economically, environmentally, sociologically, so in so many ways. So we will then go through an activity. I'll have microscopes out. You guys will sit around and look underneath at your leaves, and you'll notice that one of your leaves might have mycelia, little fungal, I guess, branches, and then one of them might have bacterial spotting, and we'll bring it up on the screen, and I'll actually have a camera that goes right into a microscope, and we'll look at it together. And we'll start identifying these things, and you'll realize what are some of the characteristics of a fungus, and how is that important in knowing that. Okay? Plain and simple, guys. It's just a bunch of agriculture skills. It's just really stuff that you should know as a farmer. Like I said, I'm going to give you all of the information, whether you retain it or not. It's really kind of up to you guys. I'm just here to give you access to the information. And also be able to answer any questions, of course. Do me a favor, pull out this last page, yank it out. I just need you to sign and date that. Just states to me that you understand all the things that went on in the syllabus. You're not going to question the fact that everything, all the assignments are due by the next week of class, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Check my camera here. All right, I need to draft